Back from the break, talking migraine headaches here with Dr. Tom Butler, chiropractor and just extraordinary man. And Tom, we talk about the causes of migraines before the break.
Right.
And we have many that we've listed. Let's start with kind of your area of expertise, which is muscle tension, pressure in joints and things along that line. What do we see there? Let's kind of go through the different causes and possible remedies for that.
Yeah. So it's, I hate to oversimplify, but basically keep it simple, stupid.
Yes.
We've talked about that on this show.
That's the name of our show. Keep
Yeah,
it simple,
keep
stupid.
it simple. Anyway, you have a suboccipital nerve comes out in the upper cervical. So
That doesn't sound simple at all.
oh, well, sorry. So when the patient comes in and they're experiencing the pain, you can like reestablish the pain by palpating, which means feeling with your fingers.
At the base of the neck, there's where you're at.
And you go through there, and after you do this for like 34 years on about 25,000 people. But anyway.
Yeah, you got strong thumbs by
Yeah, yes. And so once you find the area, you know the suboccipital fibers emanate from, you put pressure and it'll re-implement the pain. So most migrainists, let's go through that real quick. Most migrainous headaches that are different from the tension's both side, goes down in the shoulders specifically, but some migraines I've noticed can start at that level, but it keeps getting more and more intense. But they'll usually get a visual disturbance or an aura. They determine it's coming, and they're like, oh no, here we go again, right?
Here it comes.
And it can have, like I said, there can be like even a partial little blindness thing or a little squigglies they'll see, or there'll be a tunneling. And they usually want to try to avoid the lights, smells, sounds. They don't want anything to eat. They just want to sort of turn off the lights, crawl in the hole, and tell the world to go away.
Sensory deprivation to some degree.
Yeah, they just want to get away because once that nerve starts firing off, and then like I think we've talked about this maybe in the past, but there's three schools of thought. One of them is the blood vessels are constricting, so they're too tight. The other one says they're dilating, so they're too big, and they're putting pressure. And the other one says it's vasospasming, which means it's getting too little and getting too big. So pick your school. There's three schools.
and it could be any of them.
And
because
it could be any of them.
Literally,
right.
yes.
But the thing is, if I'm going to do my chiropractic, like adjustment, help the nerve type thing, that's where I go first. If they have no problem at that, then I'm concerned, and then I'll do more investigation. So let's say I was doing this, but oftentimes I have to tell you they do have the symptom and it exacerbates it, and then I just know where to go and what to do.
Okay.
But let's say it's not too much here, or maybe just mildly. Then you start tapping around, make sure it's not emanating from a sinus or an infectious.
And that will, when you do that, it will alert that person and say it hurts there. Or
good gosh.
Oh, yeah. It'll light them up.
Yeah,
so
they're like,
when you
it's terrible. It's just like back here. It's not like you did, you have pointy thumbs. It's like,
so like when
their legs and arms come up.
Right, like when you break a hand and the doctor's smashing on it, does it hurt there? Yes, it hurts.
They got it.
Yeah, I got you. So with that alerts you to tell you where it is.
Sure, or if it's a woman, let's say she comes in and her pattern, so we talk to her. Let's say her pattern is, it's the first 2 days of my period or something. So now we know there's probably a more hormonal avenue.
Yes.
So, or
possibly maybe the loss of some minerals, or possible fluid loss as well. Who knows? In that case,
try to you have to try to isolate what the what the main focus is. But here's the thing, people. Even if I can't figure out what the cause is, and you've already gone to the doctor, this is often the case. They've already had an MRI or all kinds of examinations, and everything's fine. So you have your migraines. Go away and have your migraines, and I'll give you this pill that's really rough on you.
Yes.
But or maybe just take it when you're really bad, or just come to the hospital and we'll just give you a shot and knock you out for a day. Anyway, so other than that, some things are so simple, Todd. Why not try simple?
Yes.
So one of the things,
first.
So one of the things we do we're going to go into that later, but you can do acupuncture. I put some smells. Lavender helps you control pain, and I'd use peppermint oil, which is known to help with some people with relieving some of the migraine symptoms. And then the other things, you can just, if lights are bothering you, put sunglasses on. Now, the number one is purple for some reason. I remember that because lavender's kind of purple.
Yeah,
but anyway, so those relieve
purple glasses.
Yes, it relieves it up to about 70% of the pain.
Interesting.
Almost right away.
Purple lenses.
Purple lenses.
Wow.
So the regular sunglasses are about 40% effective. So they're still helpful, but that's nice. My other thing I do. Remember what we talked about. One of the things is energy. You got to have that energy of that brain, and so the same thing. If it's not getting enough fluid, the water, you need the energy. So the mitochondria. So CoQ10, people.
Yeah.
Feverfew, is a nice anti-inflammatory, and magnesium, which is wonderful for a lot of these people. It subsides a lot of their head pain as soon as they get on that magnesium. And we talked about that. That helps you with your energy as well as your relaxation.
Oh, gosh.
So isn't that those are pretty simple. But now they found it's an old remedy, but butterbur. Remember we talked about that in the allergy section. But it's like 40% effective too. So just, folks, just get your list of foods and nutrition. It's not real expensive. You'll notice a difference pretty fast. If you combine probably all those factors, you're way up in the high percentile. Yeah. So the meds are only approximately like in the 30s. So it's, so here you are, you have less. The side effects, you might have more energy or more stamina. Or you look cool in your purple glasses or something. And,
And listen to Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze.
Water, you might quit having cramps too.
Well, and so we cover the physiological side, at least the muscle tension side. Sure. And then the herbal side, or at least the supplement side. And to me, I have seen more results, Tom, with magnesium than I've ever seen with anything as far as relieving muscle tension. And I'm talking not only migraines, but TMJ and restless leg, fibromyalgia, and blood pressure issues, and all of these things, because soft tissue is dominated by magnesium, folks. So whenever that soft tissue doesn't have the magnesium, it cannot relax. It's not in a state of homeostasis. It's constantly flexed. Exactly. And it's contracted. And whenever it contracts, then there's tension, there's high blood pressure, there's muscle tensions, and ultimately possibly migraines. But Tom brings up a good point. Start with something, and it tends to be modern medicine sometimes to go after the very hardcore nuclear bomb approach first.
Well, make sure it's not a tumor or something. I like that. So when they come in and they say they've done all that, I'm like, good. Now I don't have to even think about
it. There you
really
go. But if it's not that, and we know when we rule those out, then generally, again, start with those basic things. Sure. But let's talk about, before the break here, Tom, we talked about the muscle tension side, some supplements that could help, and some deficiencies that might be causing this problem. But we are also now dealing with a large amount of colors, food coloring, that possibly could be issues, food additives, and you mentioned MSG. Is there any others that I'm missing here as far as possible food? Because obviously, folks, if you're having this problem, you need to first thing, hydrate more, deal with the supplement issue side of things, and then food elimination diet, to start eliminating some of these foods that you kind of crave and that you're going after all the time. Maybe that.
Well, the sort of a simple way, we just keep saying simple, don't we? But one of the easiest ways is if it's trying to reduce calories, so it's like it's trying to reduce fat, or it's trying to reduce the sugar but still let you have sweet, though you should be highly suspect of that. Or if you're trying to put something on a shelf and expand its shelf life. So, or if the food, I'll just use Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever company you want. Let's don't pick on a company. But if the drink comes out and it's clear and it sells better black, they're going to put black, something to make it black. So I'm just saying, the more you get away from Mother Nature to change the color or make it preserved or make it sweet but it's not got sugar or make it taste like it's fatty but it doesn't have any fat. And I'm sorry, but I tell everybody diet food starts with the letters die. So
exactly.
Sorry.
And then in turn, you bring up a good point, because there's a lot of things in foods that they put there just to give it color, or try to enhance the flavor of something that doesn't have fat.
Appeal.
You know, when it comes to flavor in food, folks, fat is where it's at. I can tell you that. So that's the reason we like the marbled steak, and that's the reason we like the fat. That's what gives the flavor to the food. But then again, we have these foods out there that are now fat-free, or at least no hydrogenated fat, but then we've got some other type of fat that's man-made. So ultimately, the elimination side of it, obviously, is what Tom's saying here, is you got to address that side. Tom, is there anything else as far as on the migraine side? I mean, you talked about over-exercising. How would that cause migraines? I mean, how
go back to the one of my other philosophies is keep it simple on exercise. If you run, runners don't get that much advantage. Walkers get like a double, triple advantage over a migraine. The runners don't get much of an advantage. But think of the runners. I don't know, Todd. I used to, I've taken sports medicine too, but anyway, I always think there's not that many runners that run down the road smiling, but there's a lot of walkers that are smiling and taking their dog and they're talking to their friends. And I'm just saying, just think of your blood vessels in that situation. If you're sprinting or running, you train hard. So, and it's the same difference. If someone goes in the gym and just puts in their time, they're not going to get their blood vessels all expanded. They're not pushing themselves very hard. But the thing, I've worked out with this guy. It's an experience. But anyway,
and I've apologized to him.
Well, one of the things that he always says is like breathe. So it's like, wouldn't you think breathing would come pretty natural? But the thing is, if you push yourself really hard, it's kind of hard to breathe, Todd. So he doesn't understand for us normal people. But so what do? You build up back pressure. And what does the veins and arteries do? Can't you just see us like our head looks like it's going to pop off?
Oh, yes.
So as soon as you breathe, you notice the blood vessels calm down. You actually get more effect out of your muscles.
Very much so. But that's one of the part of that I do, and why it looks so easy is because I'm concentrating on circular breathing.
And he breathes extra. He even breathes more than
so that's a good point, because the constriction of the tightening of the muscle constricts the vessels, reduces blood flow, reduces oxygen, reduces hydration, all of those things. So that's an interesting point as well. Well, folks, we're going to take a break and come back and wrap this up on migraine. Some great stuff here. If you have anybody that has migraine headaches, drag them in front of the TV here.
Replay this.
Turn the lights down, put on purple glasses, and put them in front of the TV. We'll be back to wrap up this show here in just a second, folks. Hang on.